You are going to die, not someday in the distant future, not in some vague theoretical way. You are going to die. And that might be the most important thing that ever happens to you. Most of us spend our lives running from this truth. We act as if death is something that happens to other people, not us. We make plans, we chase success, we stress over things that, in the grand scheme, won't matter at all. We do everything we can to avoid thinking about the one thing we can't: escape. But here's the paradox. In avoiding death, we stop ourselves from truly living. We act as if we have forever. We put off what really matters. We postpone dreams, delay apologies, avoid risks. We wait for the right time, as if time itself isn't slipping through our fingers. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if death isn't the end of the story, but the reason the story matters? Because the real problem isn't that we're going to die. The problem is that we live as if we never will. If you truly understood deep in your bones that your time here is limited, what would you do differently? What would you change right now? Before you dismiss this as just another cliché about living in the moment, let's go deeper. Why do we fear death so much? And what if that fear is based on an illusion? We don't just fear death because it marks the end of our existence. We fear it because it forces us to confront something we spend our whole lives avoiding. We are not in control. From the moment we're born, we're taught to build, to plan, to secure our future. We map out careers, relationships, ambitions, believing life follows a script we get to write. We convince ourselves that if we just follow the rules, work hard, make the right choices, everything will fall into place. But death doesn't follow our script. It arrives without warning, without permission. It interrupts carefully made plans, disregards schedules, and reminds us, no matter how much we try to control life, we control far less than we think. And that terrifies us. So we do what humans have always done. We distract ourselves. We drown out the thought of death with work, entertainment, endless scrolling. We chase wealth, success, status, anything to make us feel like we're in control. We build routines, surround ourselves with certainty, hold on to the idea that if we eat right, exercise, and take precautions, we can somehow push death further away. But deep down, we know the truth. No amount of planning, no amount of denial can stop what's coming. That's why death unsettles us. Not just because it's the end, but because it shatters the illusion of control we cling to so desperately. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll do it later"? Later, I'll take that trip. Later, I'll spend more time with family. Later, I'll say what I really feel. But later is never promised. We act as if we have all the time in the world until we don't. And yet, here's the paradox. What if letting go of that illusion of control is exactly what we need? What if, instead of making us powerless, accepting death could set us free? Because when we stop pretending we control everything, we can finally focus on what we do control: how we love, how we treat others, the choices we make every single day. When we stop trying to outrun death, we can finally start walking toward life, fully, fearlessly, with the awareness that every moment counts. And this idea that death isn't the enemy, but a teacher, has been at the heart of Jewish wisdom for thousands of years. So, what does Judaism actually say about death? And could it change the way we live? What happens when we die? It's a question that has haunted humanity since the beginning of time. Every culture, every civilization has searched for answers. Some believe in an afterlife, a paradise beyond this world. Others believe in reincarnation, that we return again and again in different forms. And some believe that death is simply the end, the fading of consciousness into nothingness. But in Judaism, death is not the end of the story. It's not an eraser, wiping away everything we were. It's a transition, a doorway, not a dead end. The Talmud teaches that this world is only a corridor, a passageway to something far greater. Life here is not the destination. It's just the opening chapter of something beyond what we can see. But this isn't just about what happens after we die. It's about how we live. Because if this world is just a corridor, that means we're only passing through. And if we're only passing through, then why do we live as if we'll be here forever? In Jewish thought, the soul is eternal. It existed before we were born, and it continues after we're gone. The body? It's just the vessel that carries us through this part of the journey, and when we die, the soul doesn't disappear. It returns to its source like a flame rejoining the fire. It's not lost. It simply moves beyond what we can see. But if we truly understood this, if we knew with absolute certainty that life here is temporary, wouldn't we live differently? Would we still waste time on meaningless arguments? Would we still chase things that don't last? Would we still hold grudges, delay dreams, take the people we love for granted? Because the truth is, we all know our time here is limited, but knowing it and living like we know it are two very different things. This is why Jewish wisdom doesn't teach us to fear death. It teaches us to prepare for it, not through avoidance, not through denial, but through meaning, through the way we live. Because in the end, the only thing we take with us is the impact we made, the love we gave, the kindness we showed, the wisdom we shared. So if life is just a corridor, then the real question isn't only what happens after we walk through it. The real question is, what are we doing with the time we are given? Because if death gives life meaning, then how do we make sure we are truly living? If life is only a corridor, then where does it lead? And more importantly, why are we here at all? It's easy to believe that the purpose of life is happiness, that we're here to collect as many good moments as possible before time runs out, to chase pleasure, success, comfort, as if the goal is to reach the end with the least amount of suffering. But deep down, we know that's not enough. Because no matter how much we achieve, no matter how much wealth, status, or comfort we accumulate, it never truly satisfies us. And when death enters the picture, none of it comes with us. In Jewish thought, the purpose of life isn't about what we get, it's about who we become. We aren't here just to exist, to pass time, to chase distractions. We are here to refine our souls, to grow, to elevate ourselves beyond who we were yesterday. And strangely enough, nothing reminds us of this more than death itself. Because when we truly confront our mortality, when we accept that our time is limited, it forces us to ask, what actually matters? Would we spend our days differently if we knew exactly how many we had left? Would we still chase things that won't last? Would we still hold on to resentment, delay our dreams, waste time on things that don't bring meaning? Pirkei Avot, a collection of Jewish ethical teachings, offers a powerful line, repent one day before your death. At first, this sounds like strange advice. How can someone know when their last day will be? But that's the point. We don't. And because we don't, the only way to truly prepare is to live every day as if it could be our last. Not in a reckless way, not by abandoning responsibility, but by choosing every single day to focus on what actually matters, to live with intention, to say what needs to be said, to fix what needs to be fixed, to stop postponing the things that truly matter, because the worst tragedy isn't death itself, it's dying before we ever truly lived. And if that's true, then the question we have to ask ourselves isn't just what happens when we die, it's what are we doing with the life we still have? Imagine for a moment that you knew exactly how much time you had left, not in an abstract way, not in a distant theoretical sense. You knew, down to the day, the hour, the minute. Would you still care about the things that stress you out now? Would you still waste energy on pointless arguments? Would you still put off the things that truly matter waiting for a better time that may never come? We spend so much of our lives consumed by things that, in the end, won't matter at all. The expectations of others, the fear of failure, the endless pursuit of things that only bring temporary satisfaction. But death has a way of stripping all of that away. It forces us to see what actually matters. And it's never what we think. No one reaches their final moments wishing they had worked more, earned more, won more arguments. Instead, when people reflect on their lives, their regrets are almost always the same. I wish I had spent more time with the people I love. I wish I had said what I really felt. I wish I had been less afraid. Because in the end, we don't regret the risks we took. We regret the ones we didn't. We don't regret the times we loved. We regret the times we held back. We don't regret the moments we were fully present. We regret the ones we let slip away. In Jewish tradition, there is a belief that before the soul leaves this world, it is shown the full picture of its life, not moment by moment, but as a whole, as a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in that moment, the soul understands everything. All the times we worried about things that never really mattered, all the opportunities we missed, all the love we could have given but held back. But here's the thing. We don't have to wait until the very end to see life clearly. We can choose to see it now. We can choose to ask ourselves today, what will actually matter in the end, and live accordingly. Because when we strip everything away, only a few things remain: the love we gave, the kindness we showed, the moments we were truly present. And if those are the things that matter in the end, then why aren't they the things that matter most right now? We spend our lives trying to avoid the thought of death. We push it away, distract ourselves, convince ourselves that it's something far off, something that won't happen to us. Not yet. But what if, instead of fearing death, we embraced it? Not in a dark or hopeless way, but in a way that frees us. Because once we truly accept that our time here is limited, something changes. We stop waiting. We stop holding back. We stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Think about it. What would you do if you had 1 year left? Would you finally take the risks you've been afraid of? Would you finally forgive? Would you spend more time with the people who matter? Would you stop caring so much about what others think and start living for what actually makes you feel alive? Would you live differently? The truth is, you don't need a countdown to make those choices. You already know what truly matters. The problem isn't knowing. The problem is assuming we have more time. But what if we lived as if we didn't? Jewish wisdom offers a powerful idea. Teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Because when we truly understand that our days are numbered, we live them differently. We become more present, more intentional. We stop chasing things that don't last and start investing in things that do. And strangely enough, it's this awareness of death that makes life richer. When we embrace death, we don't become more fearful. We become more alive. We start appreciating simple moments in ways we never did before. A conversation with a loved one, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of laughter, a moment of silence. Things we once overlooked suddenly feel like gifts, because that's what they are, and maybe, just maybe, death isn't the enemy we've made it out to be. Maybe it's a reminder, a teacher, a force that pushes us to stop existing and start truly living. So the real question isn't, how do we avoid death? The real question is, how do we live in a way that, when the time comes, we have no regrets? One day, your time here will end. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But one day, sooner than you think, your story in this world will reach its final page. This isn't meant to be depressing, it's meant to be freeing. Because when we truly accept that life is temporary, we start to see what actually matters. We stop waiting for the right time to start living. We stop letting fear decide for us. We stop wasting our days on things that, in the end, won't matter. Instead, we become fully present. We love more deeply. We speak more honestly. We take the risks that actually matter. We give more freely, knowing that the things we create, the love we share, and the kindness we show. Those are the only things that truly last. Because when the time comes, when we reach the end of this corridor, we won't look back with regret. We won't wish we had lived differently, because we will know that we truly lived. The question isn't how long we get to stay in this world. The question is, what will we do with the time we have? And maybe, just maybe, the best way to prepare for death is to start living right now. So don't wait. Take that risk. Say what needs to be said. Live now so that when the time comes, you'll have no regrets.